you got to think about your energy and especially your emotional energy when you're rebuilding your life. You have to think about like what it costs. You have to budget everything, especially your emotional reserves. Hi friends. Okay. Well, this is episode 2 of, what am I calling this? Rebuilding your life. I guess I'm just gonna have to say that things didn't turn out this week the way that I was expecting or maybe hoped. And so again, this morning I was rushing around trying to figure out a way to do a plan B, and then I was like, you know what, I just gotta be real about this whole process and just get in here and just start, making these videos right in the middle of trying to figure it out, because that's really what it's all about. And well, for one, okay, so I'm gonna tell you a few things that have been a challenge. One is we're in our little apartment now that we are in for the winter, and getting the RV all winterized and everything like that. And so the plan was that I was gonna come here and make a bunch of videos and get it all decorated and things like that, which I have. And Mark was gonna go back to the ranch and work and, do what he can from there with his broken shoulder. But then, he's in this new phase of healing, and it's making new, different pain in his shoulder. He's also getting really discouraged. And so anyway, he stayed this week, and then we were gonna go see our daughter, and then some weather happened and kept us from doing that. And so anyway, so I've just been in this apartment with my husband, who's in very much pain and very grouchy. And so I haven't been able to make any videos. And so he just went and ran some errands. And so I was like, I'm just gonna hurry up and do this. I'm just gonna hurry up and make this video. So really what I wanted to talk about today is the thing that you have to do if you're rebuilding your life. And that is kind of like what I talked about last time. It's just getting yourself, no matter what's happening and what's going on around you, constantly bringing yourself back to your own soul road, to your own experience. And that has its own nuances. Like, you have to decide every day, if you can. Now, I always start my classes with this caveat, and that's that if you are actively in grief or in some kind of a depression or a mental illness, I guess you'd call it, mental unwellness, then you just got to be merciful with yourself, because you can't always will yourself out of the mindset that you're in, because it's chemical, or it's whatever grief is. I don't know what we call that, but grief kind of takes you on this train ride that you can't get off until it's done, and you just have to roll with it. You just have to ride that train. Doesn't ask you if it's a good time, doesn't ask for permission, doesn't ask if you're ready for the next phase. It just goes for it. Oh, it says my battery is low. Okay, so we're gonna hurry. So what I'm saying is I want to just kind of walk you through what I do every day, pretty much. I am in menopause right now, and so I don't sleep especially well. I wish I slept better. I've tried lots and lots of things to do it, and I continue to try things. But typically, I wake up around average of like 4 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes I try to go back to sleep, but usually I can't, because my brain will just automatically start thinking about things. And so that's the first moment of every day where I have to take control, or else I get controlled. I get the thoughts just start going crazy. And so that's why often I'll just get up and I'll get to work. Now, one of the things that I have done is I create mind movies. Like, this is so vulnerable and so personal. Like, it's basically showing yourself like how you need to view yourself so that you can move forward, and reminding yourself of things that are true. And so, I've sent out the Brave Girls Club Daily Truth for, more than 10 years. And I have to give myself the same truth all the time, every day, and sometimes several times a day. So when things are really bad, I'll watch all 5 of them. I have one that's about like what I'm capable. I have one that's about my family. I have one, about the things that I've been through and that I'm a warrior. And I have one about, that it's okay if I rest. And I have, I just have all these different ones, but sometimes I'll watch every single one. They're like, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes a piece. And so a lot of times I'll get up and that's the first thing that I'll do. And then I will immediately, like right now, I'll immediately get to work doing something that makes me feel productive. And that's just right now. Like when I'm done writing this book that I'll be done with in a couple of weeks, 50 Roads, then I'm going to spend that first time in the morning exercising, like getting up and going for a walk. Like do something. I have to do something to have some forward progress, because if I check my phone, like emails and social media and text messages and everything like that, it just gets me again spinning into this, oh my gosh, I have so much to do, I have so much, I'm so behind, whatever. But if I get going first thing in the morning, making some progress on something, like sometimes I'll get up, because we share a house with our friends, I try to be quiet when I get up that early, although, they get up pretty early to exercise, but not like 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning. If I'm up that early, I try to do something really quiet with my headphones on. But if it's past like 6 o'clock in the morning, lots of times I'll just get up and do the dishes, or I'll clean something. I always try to get dressed first thing. I used to be somebody who was fine hanging out in my PJs all day, but I've found that for me, it doesn't help me in any way. So I'll get up and I'll get dressed, and it's a lot easier now that I don't wear makeup. I wear a little bit of lip gloss. I put the same thing on my lips as I do on my cheeks. And then I'm ready for the day. And I curl my hair, obviously. You saw that in the first video. But I have a pretty easy get ready routine. I mean, I have a pretty big supplement routine that I'll show you sometime, and a dental hygiene routine that I do, and that's a lot more extensive than my makeup routine. But I try to get that done first thing, whether I feel like it or not, because I've found that if I don't, I feel like garbage. It's almost like proof that I'm not going anywhere. And so I have to first give myself proof that, yeah, I'm moving forward, and yeah, it's my job to move forward, and yeah, nobody's going to come move me forward. I have to move myself forward and just do something that I'm good at. So I guess that's what I'd boil it down to, is just get up in the morning and do something that you're good at, and do something that reminds you of not just who you are, but who you want to become. I'm going to show you guys, actually Mark went on an errand for me to buy, one of those display boards, that you do the science fair with. And I'm going to turn that into a giant decision board instead of a vision board. Like I've done vision boards so much in the past, but I've found that I have to do a decision board, not just what I want, but what I've decided I am going to do. Because I have spent a lot of years putting things up to look at that are beautiful, and dreaming and wishing for things. And I've found that until it becomes a decision, a choice that you're going to choose above everything else, it just doesn't happen. And so I'm going to walk you through my process of making a decision board. And I also have so many things that I'm working on right now that I'm really excited to work on. But I also have a lot of stuff I'm still cleaning up. Like one of my big shames right now is the amount of debt that I have right now. And that's largely the reason that we don't have a home right now, and we're not, we're living in an RV and in our friend's house, is because everything that we're making essentially is going toward either building a new business or paying off debt from our old business, from our old life, everything else. And so I'm juggling a lot of stuff. I'm not just starting from scratch. I'm starting kind of in a hole, which is fine. A bunch of us are. And I know because of the way that the world is going, a lot of us have a ton of debt right now, because that's what we had to do to be able to survive. And so I kind of want to take the stigma away from that. It's something that I'm, ashamed about. I love debt. I don't love debt. and I have tax debt, I have consumer debt, I have all sorts of debt. And so that's what I'm working really, really hard to pay off. I really want to get it paid off. And I have, oh my gosh, I've made so much progress. If you look at, where our life is and what we've been able to do to get this all taken care of and make everybody whole, I feel really, really good about that. And I just want to finish it. I want to finish it strong. I want to make sure all of that gets paid back and that I'm doing it. So anyway, that's something I want you to know as I share this story with you of rebuilding and all of the things that I'm going to plot out. Like, I'm going to really share with you what the plan is and what I'm trying to accomplish moving forward, so that we can kind of do this together, but mostly so that you feel inspired to do this for yourself. Like, you feel inspired to take charge of your life and not wait around for something amazing to happen to you. The amazing thing that's happening to you right now is that you really do have some opportunities to rebuild something brand new. That's the amazing thing. Other amazing things might not happen. But if you take that amazing thing and you take this huge, huge mass opportunity that we all have all together right now to not just rebuild a new, better way to live in our world, but a new, better way to live for yourself, it can look really devastating. If what's happened to your life is like what's happened to my life, I can see it's happening all around the world. You can be tempted to feel really insulted by that. And I think it's so important to take the time that's needed to grieve, because that doesn't go away. It just goes in and becomes disease and bitterness and all, mental illness and all of those things. It's really, really important to sit with your feelings and feel them, but don't please think that this is over for you. This is just, maybe there's been endings, but that means there's beginnings coming, and you're probably, overlapping beginnings and endings all the time. We all are. So, I'll go back to like what I do to get myself going in the morning. I watch my movies. I'm very careful about the music that I listen to, the movies that I watch, the YouTube videos that I watch, and even the people that I talk to. I have to, at this time, you got to think about your energy and especially your emotional energy when you're rebuilding your life. You have to think about like what it costs. You have to budget everything, especially your emotional reserves. So that means if I spend, if I have this much, it's not unlimited. I have thought that in the past, and it just isn't. It's not unlimited. It's very limited. And if I spend a bunch of it on something that isn't going to build me up and help me sustain, the energy that I need to keep going, then I lose. It's like going and spending a whole bunch of money. Maybe you have this much money for groceries and this much money for rent, and then you go spend it all at the county fair or whatever. And then you come home and you don't have any money left to spend on rent or food. And you have this, really cheap, plush, pink dinosaur or something that you want at the fair, but you can't do everything else. So that's what you have to think about. You have to think about like, what is this going to cost me? And can I afford it? So there's our basic needs. If you've ever seen Maslow's hierarchy of needs, maybe I'll talk about that sometime. You have your basic needs. And once those are met, then like if I do have extra time, I want to spend it talking to my kids and my grandkids and making art and writing and doing other things. After you get the necessities, you got to move on to like what fills you up. Now, I know there's going to come a time if I play this smart, that I will have time to do things like go to the fair or go to talk to people that are risky to talk to, people that could help you feel better or might make you feel worse, whatever. Like there's going to be time to take risks like that. There's going to be resources to take risks like that. But I don't have that right now. I just don't. And lots of us don't. That's what I'm noticing is, I'm noticing a lot of people are, even people in my own life, like we're not doing anything that's not absolutely necessary right now. And I really think it's because the state of the world is taking every bit of energy just to survive, just to keep your head up every day, that it's like it's taking from us. It's taking from us, because the stress of it is taking from us, which means we have less resources. We have less emotional resources. We have less mental resources. We have less physical resources. And so a lot of people are just retreating in. Now, the risk there is thinking that because somebody that used to be, really involved in your life isn't right now, it's because of you. But I hope that we can all see that we're all sort of just, white knuckling. I mean, that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of, times in my life and in my marriage when, like Mark and I couldn't even help each other through things because we were both, hanging from this bridge over this troubled water in the middle of a huge storm, just white knuckling, and if I stopped holding on, I would fall. And if he stopped holding on, he would fall. So that means I can't go over there and help him, and he can't come over here and help me, but we can be next to each other. And that's how I feel like the whole world is right now. So I hope we can be mindful of that. I have to remind myself of that all the time, that, our life kind of started in this stormy season before even this global pandemic crisis that's causing all this stress and, all these, the domino effect of all of this, our life was already like that. So sometimes I think I forget that everybody else is in the middle of it too. So I think if I haven't heard from somebody in a long time or whatever, I can make up a story that, oh, they must not, like me anymore, must not love me anymore, must not want me in their life anymore. And I know that people are probably thinking the same thing about me. And again, that's just taking from our energy reserves to be making up those stories. So that's where we're at 16 minutes. I really just wanted to talk about how important it is to invest in yourself first thing in the morning. There's a lot of books that I'll open up and read. I do writing. I will do just something that is fueling, not taking, not something that doesn't require fuel, but something that gives fuel, because I'm going to have to require fuel for the rest of the day, which means I got to fuel myself. So then let's talk about like physical fuel. What I want to do when I'm super stressed and scared and uncertain and making up stories, which I have to, I'm like this all day long. I'm doing this all day, every day. Some of the stretches of I'm totally in a good space are longer than the stretches that when I'm not. And then some days those stretches are longer. But one of the things that one of my default behaviors when I'm feeling that way, crummy, is I want to eat sugar and salt. And so I want to eat ice cream and Cheetos and hot dogs and chips and chocolate and carbonated sugary drinks. And that's just it's so dumb, you guys. Like, it's so dumb that we want to do things when we feel crummy that actually make us feel worse. I mean, we all do it. We all have these vices that I don't know why. Like, why do we want to do something that's going to make our life worse and make us feel worse when we already feel bad? Like, we want to drink or gamble or shop or yell at someone or whatever. Like, we do these things that give us double trouble instead of doing things that make us feel better. And so what I try to do, I actually saw this image this morning that I'm putting with one of my roads where a bunch of dominoes were falling and then there was a hand right here to keep the rest of them from falling. So when you're already feeling crummy, try to just visualize yourself putting, blocking the rest of the dominoes from falling. Like, maybe all of this is already a mess, but do something that's going to keep it from continuing to fall. So for me, I'll show you the list of supplements that I try to take every day. I want to at least start the day with something that's going to be good for my body. So I have this greens powder that my friend Robin introduced me to, and also these little packets of minerals and vitamins, just to give my body what it needs to be able to think, to be able to feel, to be able to pump blood properly and make my hormones go where they're supposed to go and help my body even make hormones and, do all the things that, like, I want to give myself the best chance I can to start the day with. And that's the biggest thing that I would suggest, is giving yourself a chance to have a good day, not waiting for something to happen for you to have a good day, or not hoping that the thing that you think is going to ruin your day, not just putting all your energy into hoping that that thing doesn't happen, or trying to prevent it from happening, the thing that's going to ruin your day. Start your day off with the best chance you possibly have to be able to make it through anything, through whatever happens. I wrote a little post on Facebook the other day about how the world is in a really rough place. And I don't know, as I've been alive 50 years now, and I've been through a lot of cycles of economic cycles and things like that in business and everything. And I've seen a lot of cycles. And from what I can tell, I don't know that any of this outward stress of the world is going to get better for a really long time. So what that means is we have two choices. We can either fall into it and fall into despair and sorrow and frustration and anger, or paralyzation, or we can decide that we're going to get stronger and we're going to operate inside of how it is. If it's not going to change, then we have to operate inside of how it is, which means we have to change, which means I have to change. And so every day I think, how do I need to change to be able to thrive inside of this environment? And so that means I have to protect my resources. I have to armor up. I have to learn some new skills. I have to be able to stand taller. I have to be able to, practically speaking, like, groceries are so much more expensive, and gas is more expensive, and rent is, everything is more expensive right now, which means we have to learn how to live with less, or budget, or, sell what we have so that we have some reserves. Like, there's just all of these things that we're going to have to learn how to do every day to be able to thrive inside of this environment, rather than waiting for this environment to change. So when I get up in the morning, that's what I think about, is what do I need to be able to thrive today, no matter what happens. If the thing doesn't happen that I need to happen to make my life easier, or if the thing does happen that I think is going to make my life harder, what do I need to be able to thrive even if those things happen? What do I need to be able to survive it and keep going and not let it totally crush me and stop me? That's what I think about. And so there's things that with my mind, with my heart, with my body. With my mind, I have to be so careful what I feed it. With my heart, I have to feed it good things. I even have to remember that it exists, because your heart is so quiet. Your brain will make all these demands. Your heart will just wait, and it will just break while it's waiting. And so I have to feed my heart. And then my body, I have to be careful that I don't feed it too much, and that I don't feed it the wrong things, and that it gets to move and do what it does. Like, it gets to exercise and move and dance and experience life and, be happy. And so those are the things that I think about. I also have to really remember my connection to the divine, that I have ancestors, that I have angels, that I have my truth teller, that I don't have to do this by myself. But what I believe is that all of those helpers that are, on the other side in another realm, what I really believe is that they have a code where they can't help us unless we ask. And so I have to remember not to try to do things on my own, to try to make sure that I pray and I ask for help, and that I'm very specific with what I need, and also to give permission to help, and then to understand that in those realms, the way that problems get solved are not the same as the way we would solve them. And so sometimes a prayer gets answered in a way that's so confusing, or sometimes a prayer gets answered in a way that we don't even see that it got answered until later. And so we feel disappointed. And so as I'm asking for help, I also have to remember to be open to the possibility that I'm going to be helped in a way that I never could have thought up for myself, which is, one of the reasons we need help, because we can't see everything. We're down here in this situation, and sometimes we need help from a bird's eye view that can see the whole picture, not just our little thing, and know how, know what's over here and what's over there, what's behind us, what's in front of us, and be able to craft an answer that factors all of those things in that we can't even see. So, what's making things difficult right now is just distractions. I think distractions are so much more destructive than evil, because they keep us from moving forward. So I have to remember, what's a distraction and what's meant for me right now. Just things happening that I wasn't expecting. I often don't build in margin for error or margin for life happening. I plan things out to the minute, and I don't put in like, oh, what if something happens that takes like half of the minutes of my day? And so I'm trying to just roll with the punches, whatever. It's hard for me. This is a big lesson that I'm working on right now. It's so hard for me to see people suffer. I'm in the middle of watching my husband suffer massively, and I'm learning that it doesn't help him when I sit beside him and keep asking, do you feel better yet? Do you feel better yet? What can I do for you? I mean, it's just stressful for him. And then it's also keeping me from moving forward. So I'm learning how to thrive inside of seeing a lot of people around me suffer, like doing what I can for them, but then moving forward, because I can't be of help if I'm drowning too. That's a big thing that I'm learning right now, is the value of being in the boat, not in the water. Like sometimes we're in the water and we need someone to throw us a life preserver, and sometimes we're in the boat and someone else is in the water. And it doesn't help if we're both in stormy waters without a life preserver. And so I'm learning how to be helpful from a safe place. And that's really hard because it feels selfish and terrible when you, it's so weird, when you don't like jump in the storm with somebody. I don't know why, but I'm learning that if I take care of myself, I can be a lot more helpful to people. So, okay, we're at 20, I don't have my glasses on, so I think it says 26 minutes. And so I'm not going to make these too long because I want you guys to watch them, but my challenge to you, my next episode, like I said, I'm going to show you my whole process of like sketching things out and prioritizing and how I do things and how I write things out and things like that. But my challenge to you right now is to think about like the ways that you are holding yourself back from thriving, even inside of this environment. And maybe if you're waiting, like you're like, I'll thrive as soon as things get back to normal, or I'll thrive as soon as things are figured out. Right now I'm suffering. I'm not done suffering yet. It seems like I'm in this terrible situation, and it seems like my job right now is to suffer. And I hope you're laughing as I'm saying that, but I also hope it's kind of hitting you going, oh my gosh, do I do this? Because I know I've done this, where I'm like, okay, we're all in this really difficult time in history and in life. And maybe, you know, I guess during difficult times, the thing that we're supposed to be doing is to suffer. And so I want you to challenge that belief. That's what I'm trying to do, is just let myself believe, like, can I thrive when it looks like I'm supposed to be suffering? Can I have faith when it looks like I'm supposed to be worrying? Can I create when it seems like I should be waiting for something to get created? Can I laugh when so much crying is happening? Like, just challenge it and see, like, what if I did that? How could I be more effective in the world? How could I be more effective in my own life? And how could I be more effective serving others? So that's all I got today. The next one, like I said, I was going to give you a little tour, but I will on the next one. I'm still unpacking, and I'm making it really cool up here, and I'm pretty excited to show you like the way that I've repurposed a lot of things and just made this look like a really funky, amazing, cool artist loft. So I'm going to take you like deep into my life and what it looks like and what it's like to rebuild. But for today, I just wanted you to challenge, you know, maybe some of the beliefs that you have that I have, and then we'll talk more about how to craft your day in your life so that you can thrive inside of those challenges. Okay, thanks for being here with me. And if you're rebuilding your life, I'm giving you a big old fist bump and telling you that you can do it, and you are doing it. And if you're reinventing yourself, keep going. And all together, we're reinventing this world, which is amazing. So I love you, and I'll see you next time. Mwah.